We're here again on LinkedIn and YouTube with another exciting episode of the Top Innovator series. My name is Joseph Martens, and I'm thrilled to introduce our guest today. With us today is Pete DiFondi. Pete is the CTO with the New York State Technology Enterprise Corporation. Before that, he held various C-suite and tech executive positions for a number of organizations, and today we're thrilled to have him with us. Pete, it's an absolute pleasure to have you here with us today.
Oh, thank you, Joseph. It's a pleasure and honor to be here. Appreciate it.
So, Pete, as you know, our topic is leadership. You are clearly established and successful in your journey as a leader. When you reflect on your own journey, when you ask yourself, well, why in the world am I where I am today? What do you see as the drivers for your success? What do you think are the ingredients that got you to where you are today?
Such an interesting question. It's hard to really answer when you look back on your career. But it's something I think that I reflect on is that I always probably cared more than most of the folks around me, so to speak. And when I say cared more, it was about the company, about the people, about our organization, about our mission. I was always really just willing to kind of go that extra mile to whether it was customer service or just, getting through an outcome, kind of the philosophy of the not literally, but the first one in, last to leave. Not literally saying that it was the first one in, the last to leave, but more figuratively in that, I never shied away from the responsibility and just really made sure that we were able to deliver through my career. And it paid out in the end for me.
So that level of care or the attention and the presence that you're describing there, is that something that was clear to you from the beginning that this is important? Is that something that's innate? Or did you learn that? Is that something you realized it's a good habit to develop? It's something that one should nurture in oneself. How did you get to that?
I think some of it's innate and just I guess studying the people around you and seeing the interactions as you start early in your career. You're involved in teams and maybe there was unmet expectations or partners or
Okay.
customers that felt they didn't get a great experience, so to speak, and
Mm,
those things just stuck with me along the way. And as I was able to solve those problems, just completing it. I always have a expression that I use in organizations, which is that put a bow on it. So that to me means really completing something to the point where someone doesn't have to touch it again, and everyone feels satisfied with. So that putting a bow on it is really
okay.
what I mean by caring more and delivering in that aspect.
That's a nice analogy. It also makes me think of a present, right? I want to open it and just take that away. The way you describe it, I'm learning from maybe disappointed clients or so. It's interesting, right? Because these are painful moments for us as well sometimes when we've let someone down, and they really make good learning moments.
Absolutely. I mean, the path is always paved with those learning opportunities that come
Mm,
through your career. And it's not always as simple as everyone likes to say, learn from failure. And it's not necessarily the project could have been successful, but maybe there was a way to deliver more of a
mm,
win-win out of it. And it's those enhancements, those subtle kind of additional wins that you can get that really help you in your career because you can be successful. They always
yeah,
talk about, you might leave bodies in the wake or there's a way to have an outcome, but also possibly not do everything perfect. And I think as you learn how to enhance those wins and just kind of again put
yeah,
additional bows on it, not to reuse the analogy, you really start to hone your skills.
yeah, yeah. Got it. When you think of your role models or mentors or trusted advisors, people who were there at your side along the journey, what is something that still sticks with you from them? What is something you picked up, they shared with you, or you noticed in them that was an important lesson for you?
My career, I think, in when I say that, my history, even bartending in college and paying for college that way, and meeting people that own businesses and hearing from them, what the key ingredients to success were, all the way through to when I took my first executive role and learning about, the IBM executive training program. But I think the thing has stuck with me the most is really understanding kind of how the business works financially. I
Okay.
think that is been something that I've invested, personally a lot of time in, no matter what industry I go into, and I've had the pleasure of working through multiple industries in different levels, is really understanding how the company works that you work
Hmm.
for. It's amazing to me how, many people don't get that level of
Yeah.
understanding, and it really empowers you as a leader to be able to drive change and sell your point more. And if you have to connect to those key mechanics of how the business works.
Yeah, and I would say many technologists don't do that, right? They look at their domain, and the rest of the business is not maybe immediately appealing even for them. How do you start that process, learning about the financials of the business? What path do you go on that?
Yeah, I mean, so different industries and different companies operate, a little differently. But it's amazing to me how many companies typically share tons of information about this. It's just no one wants to pick it up and read it and understand it. The CFO of the company or someone in finance will typically love to chat with a technology person and explain how it works. It's you just need to ask, quite frankly, is start there and piece it together. And so of course, being inquisitive and having a general need and understanding, but really just taking the time to do the research. A lot of it, if it's a publicly held company, a lot of that information is publicly available. If it's privately held, if it's a non-for-profit, the information is probably in the tax returns that are public.
Yeah,
If you really dig a little bit, the information is plentiful. It's just about caring and about wanting to actually understand it.
I love it. And the caring is right there again. Because when you started saying that, I immediately thought, now, when was the last time I really read a 10K or something like that, right? And it's not sure when that was. But the way you phrased it of asking the person in finance, CFO maybe, I think that's a neat access point.
Yeah, I mean, not it's not the most interesting always to read, but it's about
Mm,
understanding. It's so
yeah,
empowering to really understand
yeah,
how the company works. It goes back to the numbers, and just to the question you asked me before about that mentor. That was what the mentor told me. The one that really sticks with me is know your
okay,
numbers, know your financials. It doesn't matter what industry you're in, it doesn't matter what role you're in, but really tying it back to that, it's extremely empowering
yeah.
as you try to transform and deliver in the company. If you can tie it back to those key, fundamentals of how the business works, you immediately are now speaking to kind of the greater good and the bigger message.
I think that's absolutely awesome. How do you drive that through your organization? How do you get your people to also accept or even look at the finances or whatever other metrics there are that are non-tech metrics?
Yeah, so there's a couple layers to it. So the
Mm,
first one is let's start at the micro level. So as an organization, I believe that all the leaders in that organization should understand our budgets, our financials.
okay.
It shouldn't be just the top leader is looking at how it works. I really try to pass that information down. I also try to bring someone from finance into
Mm,
maybe our team meeting once a month to really go through and understand. So that's the budgetary piece. At the higher level, if you're a leader in technology, you need to invest in understanding your industry and your business, not the technology industry and business, the actual business you're in. So, when I was in healthcare, there was a series of training to become a healthcare manager and an executive, and you could go to different levels. And I offered and paid for all the leadership to go through
mm,
at least the basics of the foundation certification. But I offered for them to go all the way to a fellow, which was a pretty good investment in time and money. And every one of my leaders went through at least the basics of understanding how the healthcare delivery model worked. So different industries have different
okay.
pieces. In semiconductor, it was different, and in consulting, it's also different. But the key is investing, and also not just saying it, but I also went through that exact program
Mm.
and modeled that behavior for everyone.
Very cool. Very cool. Now, Pete, we talked about the past. I'd like to switch over and look at today. Again, it's about a leadership journey. This is not about companies, organizations, roles, titles, or something like that. When you look at where you are today and you ask yourself, what's next? Where do I grow? What's an opportunity? Again, in terms of personal or professional growth, right? Not titles, not organizations. What do you think is an area where you feel there is more to be done? There is a next step. There is something where I want to see more of myself.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we're at the precipice of a, technology revolution. Everyone sees that, and you can't say AI without, everyone saying it, right? And everyone's
Mm.
talking about it. And I truly believe that everything that's culminated in technology has led up to this point that we are in right
Hmm.
now. So we're the internet, I believe, was invented for this point that we are right now. We
Wow.
just starting to scratch the surface of technology and the revolution that's going to happen. Putting the desktop computer on people's desk, people were worried the accountants would go out of business, and there would be no room for that because we now have Excel spreadsheets. And while it did innovate tremendously, it opened up opportunity for everyone. So where I see myself is continuing to drive. It's a transformational role. I'd love to say I'm not worried about titles and organizations
Hmm.
and that sort of stuff. What I'm worried about right now is the really just, I think, as humanity evolving, and I'm not scared of it at all. I actually look at it in terms of incredible. I think we're about to make advances in humanity that we just can't fathom yet. And so when I think of where what I would like to do, I would like to be there on the surfboard riding that wave, because I think it's just such an incredible opportunity, and helping, you know, bring talent and youth up through this. And I just, I can't begin to tell you, as I've just in the past year has changed my life and how I look at the future. I just plan to ride this, Joseph, for ride that wave, so to speak.
Many people have talked about AI, obviously, about shaping the future. And I really cannot remember anyone, Pete, who said it with that level of enthusiasm as you just did here. And with that conviction about something great, positive, going to happen. I would love for you to speculate what you think that means for humanity. Again, not the tech side, but what does it mean? What are the implications that you see for human interaction, for leadership maybe as well?
Yeah, I mean, so I'll start with the second part first. I think for leadership, nothing changes. I think leadership is
Okay.
leadership. I still draw on the same principles from the Dale Carnegie program that I took, that people thought I was crazy for taking in the 90s because it was from the 50s. And it's the exact same principles about investing in people, finding characteristics, getting to where, meeting them where they are, and unlocking talent, and finding shared vision. All that stuff is the same no matter what. We're still people.
Okay.
In terms of humanity, I wish I had a crystal ball in how incredible the future is going to be. I honestly don't know. I look at the just in terms of the innovation that's going to happen and the advancements. We will hit a peak eventually. It's going to be like any other technology maturation cycle. We're just on the slope up right now. So at some point it will peak and we'll have gone too far. I don't think we're anywhere even close to it yet. But it'll be about, still the same behaviors of connecting people together towards a common goal. And these tools will enhance our personalities, they'll enhance our capabilities, they'll become, assistants, so to speak, and
Hmm.
assist us towards. And so then the question will be, do we want to be, the blockbuster, or do we want to be the Netflix, or do we want to be whatever? But it's going to change. There's so many cool insights about how it's kind of going to bring it back to a smaller level, right? Because these bigger companies are going to have a tough time implementing technology like this, where these smaller, more agile, and that's one of the reasons I'm in the role I am today, is to help drive that innovation at a more macro
Yeah.
level, on micro level, because at the end of the day, these smaller companies can pivot very quickly, and they're going to be able to implement. These bigger companies are still worried about governance, and they're worried about, they're spending all this time writing policy, and meanwhile everyone else is turning wrenches and actually getting to work. That's the future.
Mm.
It's going to be a lot of that.
Yeah. Yeah. I know we don't know the future, right? It's murky. We don't have a crystal ball. Absolutely. What would you wish for it to do for you? If you just look at your day in, day out, where would you hope to see some advances in the near term?
I mean, I think they're advancing every day. I think the medical industry is about to
Mm,
just take off in terms. People are going to live tremendously, longer. We're about to unlock medicines that we've never, we
mm,
didn't know existed. I think there'll be lots of challenges paved with all that. But I think that happens. I think people that are creative are going to have the ability to see their creations come to life without
yeah,
maybe more rapidly than they ever have. So that creative mind is going to get unlocked in all sorts of interesting ways. What I would really hope is that people with unresolved issues are able to use these tools to resolve, whether they're medical or
mm,
behavioral or whatever. I hope we're able to unlock more of that. I think it would be a tremendous gift to humanity to be able to solve some of these things that we just haven't really studied or taken the time, because they're just complex, and people find relief and satisfaction in ways that we never have as a culture.
yeah. I really like the way you phrased it. It unlocks the creative people, right? So it still requires that initial idea or that initial spark on our side, and then we've got tools to leverage that in a way that we haven't seen before.
I mean, I think like in my head, I could have been a painter, but I can't paint. But I could see pictures in my head of like images of things that I think would be really cool to paint. That goes away. That goes away now. So people with those that have that mindset are able to now unlock,
Yeah,
even if they can't, touch a brush to a canvas.
yeah. Pete, let me ask you one last question, and then we'll wrap it up. When you look at other people who are leading in a tech function around any kind of organization, and you could change something about the way they lead, if you had that magic wand and you could bring about some change, how leadership typically unfolds, what would you change?
So it's a little bigger than leadership, but I think you have to lead
Okay.
with impunity, in that you need to establish yourself in a way that you can act independently, and you can act on behalf of, whatever your brand is and whatever your mission is. And if you're in fear of losing your job because you're trapped, if you're in
Mm,
in fear of that you can't go get something else or another, position in the industry, you will fail. Whether you fail, or maybe it's too harsh, but you will not be able to truly, accomplish the things you want to. I think every leader needs to build their brand, establish themselves, build their network, understand, the industry, establish yourself as a leader so that you're marketable, not because you want to move or go anywhere, but it unlocks
mhm,
the real potential in you, and you lose that fear. So that's the one thing that I've seen throughout my career, is whether you're a leader or an individual
yeah.
contributor, if you can operate with that level of independence, it really, really lets you tap into all your potential.
Pete, thank you so much. Been a real pleasure having you in the conversation here.
Thank you. Great
To
to be here.
everyone, to everyone else out there, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Join us again for our next podcast. And of course, as always, keep your brain cells active.